Hello everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another Sacred Union energy update and an in-depth twin flame channeling. Yes, we are going to be going a little bit more in-depth tonight to talk about some insight and downloads that I have received with regards to the journey. So make sure that you're staying tuned. If you'd like to skip ahead to the channeling, which I do not recommend, but if you'd like to skip ahead to the actual reading, the timestamp will be in the description box below. Okay, how are you guys doing with regards to all of this cosmic support energy we've been experiencing? Past weekend, we had the full moon in Pisces, which was very watery energy, very intuitive energy. So your psychic insight might have been online. You might have been experiencing a lot of telepathy or a lot of some kind of phenomena as well. Your intuition might have been really just spot on. You also might have been getting a lot of upgrades with this full moon. For me, I spent the last 24 hours just basically sleeping, and I could feel that there were a lot of activations. I could feel like there were a lot of upgrades that were happening, and a lot that was happening in dream state as well. We also had the 9/9 portal and the start of Mercury retrograde. Those things are not anything to fear. Don't let people bring you into the vibration of fear. It is all cosmic support. And if you look at it as cosmic support, then you can use it as an opportunity to really accelerate your own ascension. Because retrograde is just an experience. It's a supportive energy that allows us to reflect, to review, to go over anything that needs to be brought to the surface, to shift, to change, to evaluate in order to move us forward. Retrograde is just like the slowing down energy before we move ahead. It's this review period. It's all the re's. Like, it allows us to recognize, it allows us to reevaluate, allows us to reflect on where we've been in order to make and take the appropriate action in order to move forward. It's just a supportive energy that allows us to really take stock of our situation and of ourselves, make those adjustments so that we can move forward in a healthier place, in a healthier way. So allow yourself to take it full advantage of these cosmic support energies. Even if it feels heavy, allow yourself to keep releasing whatever it is that needs to be released. So I had a lot of interesting experiences, some of which I'll share here, some of which I'll share at a later date and time. The first was, I personally had a lot that was experienced in dream state. I had a dream that I was at the crystal shop where I work. This was the first dream. It all happened within the same night. I think it was Saturday night. I had a dream that I was at the crystal shop where I work, and there was a man that was there. Now, there was no romantic connection between us. He was just a shopper. He was a customer. But he wanted to buy some kind of jewelry, and we were trying to make it work for him because he couldn't afford it. And this woman just appeared out of nowhere, handed him this wooden box, and says, "Here, this is for you. It's a gift." And he opened it up, and he was just so joyful and so happy to be receiving. And he pulled out a ring. It was a clatter ring, kind of like the one that I used to wear. I don't have it with me, but the one that I used to wear. And he, without a second hesitation, he handed it to me. Now, it was not a romantic gesture. I didn't know this man. There was no connection here between us, aside from him being a customer. But he just handed it to me, and I allowed myself to receive it. And that felt very symbolic of allowing myself to receive love from the universe in whatever form is coming to me, from strangers, from friends, from family, from potential romantic partners, from my potential divine masculine or twin flame. It's allowing myself to receive the love from the universe, because love is always being brought to us. That is the infinite flow. That's what we learn on this twin flame journey. You and your partner are the embodiment or the epitome of give and receive, masculine and feminine energy, the flow of love. You are the infinite flow of love. I go deep into that in the Twin Flame Truths channeling, the workshop that I just put out. Make sure that you check that out. I'll be having some snippets available here over the next couple of weeks from that workshop. But if you'd like the full experience, we go deep into channeling. There's about 3 hours worth of channeling about the twin flame journey. What is twin flames? What does it mean to be on the sacred union path of ascension? And I even got some more information as far as the dynamic between twin flames as well as sacred union and how that has evolved. So it's this beautiful allowing yourself to receive. And receiving seems to be a theme that's coming up, especially for the divine feminines. Not necessarily for the divine masculines, but for the divine feminines. When they're healing their inner masculine, they're feeling safe to receive. Because their inner masculine is the one that protects them. Masculine energy naturally provides, naturally protects, naturally wants to give. We've been so accustomed to toxic masculinity on this planet that it's been really distorted and misconstrued. But masculine energy, true conscious masculine energy, naturally has that wisdom, that inherent wisdom, and that inherent guidance to honor and cherish the divine feminine, wants to provide, protect, and make her feel safe. Just as the feminine wants to nurture, love, and care for the divine masculine, that's where you really love and support in partnership with one another. Your inner masculine, as well as external healthy partnership between masculine and feminine energies. Now, feminine energy is really learning how to open up and receive because she's healing her inner masculine, wherein she's learning how to feel safe, to trust the container of the masculine. She's learning to trust the energy of the masculine. She's learning to feel safe and protected by the masculine. Now, that's her own inner masculine. How that reflects in the physical, that she might be learning through that experience as well, especially if she had partners where she wasn't made to feel safe. But that's part of this journey for her as well, is allowing herself to trust her own inner masculine while not heading into that territory of becoming over masculinated herself. She's coming into this beautiful balance, this inner union, this harmony between her own polarities of masculine and feminine energies that then is going to reflect in the external. But it's because it's occurring in the internal that it's going to then reflect in the external experience. So that was one dream. The second dream was really interesting. I think that this was me personally, but I'm going to relay it just in case it resonates with anybody else. So the second dream was I was living with my family. We were all together, and the timeline was really strange. I don't know if we were kids. I don't know if we were adults, but it was really interesting. And what happened was I was wanting to take a shower, something that's a basic need, a basic want, and the bathroom was just a disaster area. It was a mess. And immediately my first instinct was to go and clean it, because if I wanted something done, I had to go and clean it, right? I had to go and do it myself. So I went to do it, and I just started breaking down. And I remember I woke up just sobbing and heaving and crying because this was all coming up from the subconscious to be released. This power, this full moon was extremely powerful. I didn't experience it so much in the physical, but subconsciously in my dream state, there was a lot that was being experienced. So I remember in my dream, I wrapped myself in a comforter as like this protective energy, and I went downstairs and I just found myself crying and begging to my dad, please don't make me clean this up. Please help me. And my dad was kind of representative of me being on my knees to God. How many times have we cried to God, please don't make me do this, or please help me, or please support me. Please come in and help me because I can't do this on my own. And that's what it was symbolic of. It was symbolic of that energy of, I don't want to take responsibility for that which isn't mine anymore. It was such a heavy burden. It's getting me choked up now. It was such a heavy burden. It's such a heavy responsibility. And even though I know that I'm capable of it, I don't want to bear that cross anymore. I don't want to bear that burden anymore. I don't want to sacrifice anymore. And it felt so symbolic of the transformation that I've been through, especially over the past year within myself. The things that I have experienced and seen within myself and how I've changed, because my whole life that had been that. I had put myself in that role of taking care of others because I thought that's what I had needed to do. But over the course of this ascension journey, I have been shown and taught that that's not my cross to bear. That's not my burden to bear anymore. And how many times, especially when I was sick, I used to do that as well. It's just, God, please take this from me. God, please take this from me. I don't want to struggle. I don't want to suffer. Please take this pain. How many times have we been on our knees in prayer like that? And so for me, it felt like a huge release. because I have been putting that into place with boundaries and with honoring myself and not abandoning or betraying myself or sacrificing myself over the course of the past several years. I've been putting that into practice and trying to embody that. Putting responsibility where it is, taking responsibility for myself, learning how to hold space, support, and care for others, but learning not to take on other people's responsibility. Especially as a healer, it's difficult, especially being so empathetic. It's difficult because we want to change and heal the world. We want to fix the world. We want to save everybody, right? But we can only be supportive and compassionate and loving as we help other people recognize that they're able to take responsibility and help themselves, because we can't do it for others. We can only be supportive and encouraging and compassionate and loving. We can only guide, provide insight, but everybody has to be responsible for their life. Everybody has to be responsible for themselves. That's not to say that we are individualized. That's not to say that we are not there for each other, but that's what we really learn. I'm just reminded of Jesus Christ Superstar. There was a live event way back when, I think it was like 2018, that had a really significant activation impact on me and my journey. It was like the NBC production, I think, with Sarah Bareilles and John Legend. It was gorgeous, gorgeous, and it's had a huge impact on me. Musicals have had a large impact on me in this ascension journey, but that musical specifically, it just activated so much of my ascension. And what was interesting is there's a line in the play. It's a line from the Bible where Jesus says, "Heal yourself." You have that capability. Heal yourself. That's not to say that you don't receive guidance from others or support from others or encouragement from others. But like I said in one of the recent channelings, my job is not to fix it for you or heal it for you. My job is just to guide you. And if you guys get to a point where you don't need me anymore, then my job is done. Then my job is done. Then I've done my job. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing, because that means that you understand that you have it all within yourself. Now, I even go to friends and soul sisters and brothers for energy sessions and healing sessions and readings for confirmation when I'm feeling stuck. We need each other. We're here to support each other. That's the part of this beautiful community. Especially because I recognize that I have blind spots. I'm not always able to see everything about myself, and I'm certainly not always able to heal aspects of myself. That's where I turn to my soul brothers and sisters. But you also recognize that you have your own connection to God, that you have your own connection to yourself, especially, and that through that trusting of yourself and that faith in yourself and trusting your intuition, that is what you need. That is where you help start the journey of healing yourself. It's through your connection to yourself. Again, it doesn't mean that we don't have community. It doesn't mean that we're not supportive of each other. It doesn't mean that we don't go to each other for confirmation or validation when we are feeling particularly stuck or when we're feeling particularly down. We are still humans moving through this ascension process. But we also recognize that it starts with us, with ourselves, that we all have the capability. It might look different, but we all have that capability within ourselves. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. That's a beautiful place to be. So it was interesting because I really felt like I was releasing so much of that responsibility that I have absorbed, wanting to help others. That's been, my one desire in life is to be a philanthropist, is to help and be of service to others. As a little kid, I wanted to help animals. I wanted to help people. I wanted to just help the world. That has always been my guiding force. But I took that on in so many roles, and I realized that I can be a guide and I can be supportive and I can be loving and compassionate without taking on anybody's stuff, because that just becomes a heavy burden and I can't help anybody that way. It was a huge lesson. That was a huge lesson of giving it back to God, and I feel like that dream really brought it up to the surface. It felt like a release of the stuff that was still stuck in the subconscious, because I've been working on this for the entirety of my ascension journey and then some. But it brought up that remainder, anything that was stuck within the subconscious, it released. And it showed me so much. So a lot of activations in dream state occurring. Let me know how you guys dealt with the events of the past weekend, how you guys are feeling now, if you guys had any experiences that you'd like to share as well. Over on Facebook, I am trying to start to build a Facebook community, a group over on my Facebook page, so that we can share, that we can open up and be part of the community. So make sure that you're joining. For right now, it is private, so just make sure that you are answering the questions, and I will go in and accept you and start conversations. I'm not always able to facilitate that. I am going to start looking for moderators. If you guys are interested, then shoot me an email and helping me out and volunteering in that respect, in helping to build that community, because there are a lot of you guys who have reached out to me and said that you don't have that soul sisterhood that you would really like, or brotherhood that you would really like, to communicate with each other. And this community has always been so beautiful. You see it on the live streams. It's always been so beautiful and supportive. I would really like to expand on that, in a really sacred and safe space for us to open up to each other. So if you would like to join, if you'd like to be a part of that, if you'd like to help facilitate that, shoot me an email, or at least join the community, and feel free to introduce yourselves. Okay, the next thing. I was driving. I think this was Saturday too. No, this was Sunday. I don't remember when this was. I was driving, and I usually get a lot of activations when I'm driving, because it's a really meditative state for me. And what I channeled was, you are closer to union than you've ever been. Now, it might not look like that in your physical 3D world. In fact, it might look like complete fuck all. It might look like complete chaos. It might look like complete detachment. It might look like, how in the hell is this ever going to come together? But you are closer to union than you've ever been, because of the union that you hold within yourself. There is nothing within yourself that is not experienced in the external world. No, I'm going to say that backwards. There is nothing in the external world that is not experienced within yourself. Nothing. It might look different in the external world. You might not always understand at first why it's happening in the external world, but it's the energy. The energy within is projected to your physical world. It's interesting. They're saying the physical domain. So your physical domain, your physical world. So what happens is, we have to align with the energy first, and that's what's happening now. Because you're aligning to your inner union, that feeling of peace, choosing love, choosing the path of love, the sacredness within yourself, honoring yourself, really recognizing yourself as worthy. Now, this is beyond the spiritual ego. You've moved past the spiritual ego. You might have experienced spiritual ego, but this is not the spiritual ego of, yes, I'm worthy, and yes, I am deserving, and yes, I am divine. That's still spiritual ego. Sacredness, divinity, soul is much quieter, because it doesn't need to be boasted about. It doesn't need to be shared. It just shines. You just shine. You just be. You just embody. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to show yourself to anyone. You just are. You just are embodying your sacred self. That is that inner union. You're just embodying that peace. You've been moving through that process and understanding that, and now you're really beginning to anchor that in and embody that. And the more you feel that energetically, the more that's going to be depicted in your physical 3D life. I've been getting two things with regards to this. How that's going to come into play is going to look a little bit different for everybody. The first is, it is going to be the person that you know as your twin flame. They've been going through the ascension process as well. They've been going through their own inner journey. That could be why there's the separation that you're experiencing as well. Because separation occurs, as I talk about in the twin flame truths deeper with this, it's because the projections can be so strong that if you were to keep coming together with those projections, with those old patterns and traumas coming up, then you would just destroy each other. So sometimes separation has to occur. They give me the analogy of a boxing ring. And what they said is, this is the process. You come together, and if you are just replaying the same old karma, the same old patterns, the beliefs, the stories, etc., not even with each other, there's just love between you guys. But their relationships and their old family dynamics and their old traumas and woundings come up. And your old relationships and your old family dynamics and your old traumas and wounding come up. And you project that onto each other. It's not anything to do with each other, but you project that onto each other. Well, sometimes, they're clarifying this. Sometimes, especially if you experience this journey in physical proximity to each other, the wounding that you project onto each other creates its own karmic cycle. So there is healing to do with each other. It's not just, the other person's wounds that has nothing to do with you, or your wounds that has nothing to do with them. Sometimes you create your own karma from your interactions. But that karma is based on your old woundings and how you communicate or how you express yourself or how you're replaying patterns or beliefs or whatever. So sometimes you do create your own karma, and that has to be cleared. But for the most part, it is, again, old energy that's coming up, and you're kind of like firing back at each other and taking shots, right? And then you separate to your separate corners, kind of like a break. In like boxing, they keep giving me this boxing analogy. You go to your separate corners. It's like a timeout. That's what that separation is. You're still in the ring together. You're still on this journey together. You're always in union, but you're clearing out all that karma. You're clearing out all that toxicity. You're clearing out all the trauma, the patterns, the mindsets. You're shifting into higher consciousness. So all that old dense energy has to be cleared. Okay, I just want to make sure this is recording. This is not the first time that's happened. All right, so what happens is all that dense energy has to be cleared. And then you come back together, and it feels more harmonious. But then maybe there's a trigger, and you go back at it. Now, if you did not have that separation period, if you did not have that timeout, and you just kept going at each other and going at each other and going at each other, guess what would happen? Total knockout. You would just destroy each other, and you would destroy the absolute pure love that you have for each other, the unconditional love that you have for each other, the divine love, the essence of who you truly are. You guys are one soul. Twin flames are one soul in two bodies. One soul in two bodies. That's really hard to wrap our minds around. One soul in two bodies. The masculine polarity and the feminine polarity. And the more you come into that wholeness within yourself, with your core essence, and they come into their wholeness within themselves, with their core essence, then you're able to come into partnership with one another without all that knockdown, drag out stuff, right? And again, it displays itself in a number of different ways, depending on your specific path, your journey, and your situation. So for one group, it is your twin flame that you've been experiencing this journey with. It's the person that you've always believed is your twin flame that you've been journeying with. They are going through their own journey, just as you've been going through your journey, and they're going to come out transformed, just as you have transformed. But you, especially if you're divine feminine, have to release that and just choose the path of love. Release the attachment to that person, release the attachment to the label, even release the attachment to the journey, and just allow yourself to choose love and allow that to unfold. Because a lot of divine feminines have that anxious attachment energy. A lot of divine masculines have that avoidant energy, and that creates the runner-chaser dynamic. But the more that you work on healing your own attachment energies and just open up to the divine feminine energy of flow and love and trust and faith, trusting your intuition, trusting in God, trusting in the universe, trusting in yourself, just trusting in life itself, the more you are stepping into your divine feminine energy of just flow. For a second group, there is a catalyst twin. It was your ascension partner. They activated you, but they were a catalyst for your growth. They might not be your life partner. They might not be the person that you're meant to continue the journey with. For some, there are higher level soulmates that are coming in that really feel so compatible, so harmonious. It might not be a divine masculine energy, but it's a high level soulmate energy that matches that frequency. So much love and so much joy. For others, it could be a conscious masculine, divine masculine, who is really embodying the energy that you thought the other person was. Because remember, twin flame is the energy, right? It's not necessarily a person, it's the energy. And it's really important to understand. So it's going to play out in a number of different ways. And that could be triggering to some because you have this level of desire and want and certainty, right? You feel this knowing. Go with what your heart says. Trust in what your heart says. It's a really confusing time, especially for the divine feminines, because there are so many different paths that are opening up. But your job is to just choose the path of love. Just simply choose the path of love and just be open to however that comes in. It's like let the universe surprise you. Your job at this juncture, divine feminines, is to be in your receiving mode so that the masculine can be in their giving mode, in their action mode. That was the last part of the message that I had received. You being in your receptive mode, you being just open to the flow and choosing love is allowing yourself to receive. And that allows the divine masculine to step up and lead the connection as the divine masculine does, as the divine masculine is meant to. Not lead from a place of force or control, that's all the distortion, but to lead from a place of taking action. Lead from a place of, I've got this. Lead from a place of, I've got you. Lead from a place of commitment. I want to do this. Let's work in harmony together. Let's build together. Divine masculine naturally wants to build together and take the lead of that energy. They energetically take the lead, but also physically as well. No, they're correcting me. Divine feminine, in a way, energetically takes the lead by connecting to the energy of the love that's experienced between the two. The masculine takes that, grounds that in the physical, and takes the lead in the physical by taking action, by stepping up, by showing up. But divine feminines, this is not about you just sitting back and waiting for your divine masculine. This is you consciously choosing love. That's you taking action within yourself, your own inner masculine. You are choosing love. Divine masculine then honors the feminine within them, honors that choice of love, and takes action within the physical. Does that make sense? It was a really interesting energy because I was seeing the polarity and I was seeing how what's coming, how this sacred union really, this new beginning really becomes anchored in, because I was asking the question, how the hell is this ever going to come to pass? I don't even know if I'm believing in this anymore. I was saying to God, how could this ever possibly work? And God said to me, just choose love. Just keep choosing love and keep choosing peace and keep honoring yourself and keep releasing what needs to be released. And because that's your job. Your job is to allow yourself to receive. And it's interesting that I'd had those dreams about, always needing to take responsibility or always needing to step up or always needing to do X, Y, and Z. That was my over-masculinated energy. I've never been in an energy where I can just relax and receive and allow myself to feel supported and allow myself to feel loved. Over the years, I've really been learning how to do that and relax into that. But it felt so foreign to me, even though it feels like the most natural thing in the world as a feminine energy. But it felt so foreign to me because I had always been forced into these roles where I was taking care of myself, or at least I had forced myself into those roles where I was taking care of myself. Even as others wanted to take care of me, no, I would say, no, I've got this. It was a hyper independence. So God was saying, just allow yourself to receive this love by choosing love. Because the divine masculine's job then is to step up and take action, and they're being called to. They're recognizing this. There's a lot of fear that might be holding them back still, but that's what their job is to work through. That's what their job is to overcome. Their job is to step up and take action, take that leadership role, and they feel it. Just like you, divine feminines, feel like you just want to relax into that receiving. You feel called to just allow yourself to choose love and let this all unfold and just receive and just go with the flow of things. Divine masculine is feeling that call to step up and take action and take that leadership role. And that's how this comes together. That's how this comes together. Now, it might look different for everybody in the physical 3D form, but physically, because energetically that's what you're doing, physically that's what's going to reveal itself. Masculine stepping up, divine feminine allowing herself to receive. Really interesting stuff coming through. Okay, So let's see what is actually going on with the divine masculine and the divine feminine. I want to get some cards first before I talk a little bit more about something else that I received just this morning. I'm telling you guys, a lot happening in dream state. I wake up and there's like insight. I wake up and there's downloads. It's been really interesting, these upgrades. I wanted to work today. I'm working tonight because I just slept all day. But I just felt called to rest. Listen to your body. Listen to your body. Your body is your temple. Allow yourself to listen to your body and give it what it needs right now, because there's a lot of energy that's moving. All right, what's going on for the divine masculine, divine feminine, and even their union energies? Let's start with the divine masculine, please. What's going on for the divine masculine right now? What's going on for the divine masculine right now? Overall energy for the divine masculine, please. Overall energy for the divine masculine. What's the overall energy for the divine masculine? Thank you. Manifestation. Oh, okay. Let me get the divine feminine. What's going on for the divine feminine? The eternal self. Oh, these are all upside down. Okay. And what's going on for the union energy? The inner child. Inner child nurturance. Interesting, too. What I'm also getting is we have the path, which is a card that came out in the divine dance. If you haven't already, check that out. Powerful, powerful reading. I'll link it in the description box below. So we had the path in the previous divine dance, sacred union energy update, and in-depth channeling, and what we had said was that there's this bridge is being bridged. You and your partner, any energy that's separating you two is being bridged right now, but it's happening energetically. You might not be seeing it yet in the physical, and that's because there is a lot of inner child healing. What I'm getting is you're clearing out the monsters that are under the bed, the stuff that has been kept hidden, the stuff that has been within the subconscious, the monsters under the bed that you were afraid of facing. I feel like this is especially for the divine masculines. Divine feminines, I feel like you're really holding space for this. I feel like you've been into your own underworld through your ascension journey, and I feel like now you're holding space for the divine masculines. But you're doing this together. What I'm actually seeing is your own inner children, represented as the little boy and little girl, masculine and feminine energies. Remember, gender is non-specific when it comes to energies, but I'm just seeing this portrayed as a little boy and a little girl holding hands and facing this together. Even if you might not recognize that you're doing this together, you are doing this together. You're facing the monsters that are under the bed, and I feel like, again, masculine energy is really doing this, bringing to the surface, bringing to the consciousness any fears, any traumas, any pain that they had really suppressed, forgotten, or kept hidden behind a mask, really facing that. And once they do that, it's going to break them through to a new level of authenticity, a new level of recognizing their soul self, a new level of recognizing their divinity and recognizing their power. Up until this point, I really feel like the divine masculines were in their spiritual ego, hiding behind a mask, where they had released layers of that ego, but it revealed even more ego. And they weren't allowing themselves to really access their own inner feminine energy, which is self-expression, which is authenticity, which is the heart. And that's where that spiritual ego really came in. They were hiding parts of themselves that were associated with the heart, or the higher heart is what they're saying. But now that they're really accessing all of this and facing themselves, facing those monsters under the bed, shining the flashlight there, they're realizing that there's nothing really to be scared of. What is that movie with Fred Savage? Oh my gosh, I'm an 80s baby, so what is that movie with Fred Savage and Howie Mandel? It's the Monsters Under the Bed. What is that movie? I can't for the life of me remember the name of it right now, but there's an old movie in the 80s where Howie Mandel plays a monster under the bed, and it's kind of like a funny movie. It's not, I don't know if it's meant to be funny. It's definitely not meant to be scary, but Fred Savage plays a little boy, and they go on this like adventure under the bed. There's like a whole world of monsters under the bed. It's not Monsters Inc. I think that's kind of like maybe where they got that from, but it's like this whole like monsters under the bed thing, and that's what they're showing me now. They're showing me that there's nothing to be afraid of. Just shine the light on the shadows. That's what divine masculine is doing right now. They're having the courage to shine the light on their shadows, their deepest shadows, and recognize that the monsters that they were facing was just their own energy. It was just their past self. It was just themselves. It was just their own reflection. That there's nothing truly to be afraid of. And now they're choosing differently. They're choosing love. They're choosing not to be afraid. They're choosing love. They're choosing to overcome those fears by overcoming those patterns, by overcoming those pains, by overcoming those traumas that had really suppressed them and held them back. They were really afraid of facing themselves because they didn't know what they would find. And what happens when you find yourself is you realize that you were never lost to begin with. When you find yourself, you were never lost to begin with. And they're really beginning to understand that and embody that and embody their higher self. This is a major transformation, especially for the divine masculine. Divine feminine, it has been with them, guiding them, holding space for them, because they've been through this themselves. They went through this first. Divine feminine energetically leads the ascension. They go through this first. The feminine energy lifts the masculine up. The masculine energy grounds, but the feminine, because she is so connected, doesn't mean that the divine masculine isn't connected. He's connected through his feminine energy. Doesn't mean that he's not connected to God. He has his own connection to God through that feminine energy, but the feminine is naturally connected to that higher guidance. She sees that higher perspective. She's not always able to see things clearly in the physical the way the divine masculine is. That's the divine masculine's gift. He can see things very clearly as it's occurring in the physical world. He's very grounded in the physical world. She sees things from a higher perspective, and that can be very difficult for her as well. And what happens is they bridge that, meeting on the bridge of the heart, they bridge that and they come into wholeness where it's beautifully balanced. So she's holding that space, she's loving and nurturing and kind of shining that light for him. She is that light, they're saying, that flashlight, shining that light under the bed for the monsters under the bed. She is that light for him, saying there's nothing to be afraid of. I'm here, there's nothing to be afraid of. And he's really overcoming this fear. So hand in hand, you are loving each other, especially with that innocence of childhood, that innocence, really loving each other in that purity, really loving each other in that unconditional state. It's just our human selves that kind of muck it up, right? It's our pasts and our experiences that we have a really difficult time shifting out from. We attach to it rather than learning the experiences and carrying those memories and continuing. We really attach to it, and that's where a lot of that trauma gets held within our energetic bodies and our physical bodies too sometimes. And that's what needs to be released. But it's really beautiful because I'm really seeing inner child healing. It could be, stuff that happened within childhood, or it could just be the inner child that's realizing that you are always safe, that you are always cared for, that you are never abandoned, that you are never betrayed, that you are completely, completely loved. That's the inner child healing that's happening right now. Whew. Okay. Divine masculine, as we were talking about the divine masculine, we have the manifestation card, and what this really feels like is the magician energy. This feels like divine masculine is recognizing their power, and it feels, this looks to me like an owl. I don't know if that's what this is, but it looks to me like an owl. And it's interesting to me because I was receiving the energy of masculine energy has a lot of wisdom. They don't recognize that, or they don't recognize themselves as worthy of that, but that's their own feminine energy. They have a lot of wisdom. It's that King Arthur energy that's coming through again, that has been kind of leading the way for us. That King Arthur and Merlin energy, that is their power. Now, King Arthur does not corrupt that power. King Arthur does not lead from the ego. He leads from a place of authenticity. He allows himself to be true to himself, to be true to his heart, to express himself. That is a divine, conscious, masculine energy. He allows himself to lead. He allows himself to stand in his power, but it's not by knocking other people down. It's not by denying other people. It's by embracing the energy. So what's beautiful about this is there's this wisdom that's coming through, and it's like there's two messages I'm getting through here. This energy here is putting up boundaries for anything that is toxic. anything that is draining of the energy, anything that doesn't serve him anymore. This is a new energy for the divine masculine, where I feel like they had really given themselves away, again, to expectations, to old senses of self, to other people. Whatever this is, divine masculine had really given themselves away and remained stuck in that old energy. And now they're saying no more. This is a new version of me. No more of that old. I'm releasing the past. No more of that old. The other thing that's coming through is you see how he's holding his hands up. He's activating the Reiki energy within him, the life force energy, we'll call it, within him. And this is healing both himself and the world around him. The more he says no more to that corrupt sense of power, to that ego power, to that toxic masculinity, the more he's changing himself, the more he's shifting in consciousness, the more he's transforming his inner world through this healing work that he's doing, consciously healing. The more he's doing this, the more he's activating healing energy for himself and the world around him. That's that life force energy. He is very, very powerful. Divine feminines are not the only ones with psychic gifts. Divine masculines have them too. They just do it in a very different way. They do it in a much more grounded way. It's experienced in a much more grounded way. This feels like recognizing their power. Now, that's what's interesting, because I feel like a lot of masculine energy get caught up in, yes, I'm powerful, and yes, I am divine, and yes, I am this, and yes, I am that. That's spiritual ego. Again, it's a quiet recognition. It is honoring yourself. It is not being, it's a balance between modesty and humility and pride. It is a beautiful balance. And I feel like this divine masculine is really coming into that balance, where they are recognizing, yes, I'm connected. Yes, I'm divine. Yes, I am powerful. And it's not the powerful energy of corruption and toxic masculinity and all that crap of the past. It is, I am powerful because I am. I am powerful because I am. The I am presence running through me. I am powerful because I am. And they're recognizing it. We are powerful because we are. This is all of us within the I am presence, recognizing that unity consciousness. But where he had maybe shied away from claiming that for himself, now he's beginning to claim that and own that for himself, recognizing that I am within the we are. I don't know if that makes sense. It's recognizing unity consciousness, but the most important thing here is that he's recognizing himself. He's recognizing his worth. He's recognizing his divinity, his power, and he's beginning to manifest from that place, not from the place of lack, but from the place of worth, from the place of abundance, from the place of I am, which is really, really beautiful. Divine Feminine, she is ignited in her power. Specific phrase there, ignited in her power. I feel like she is fully embodying her higher self. She is just, I love this image because this feels like Kali energy again. Kali is one of my favorite goddesses. She's one of my favorite ascended masters because she is just such a divine feminine presence of that balance of fierceness with nurturing energy. She comes in and she's just like, you know what? I am not going to allow anything that is not of the highest light. I'm going to come in and I'm going to destroy anything that is not of the highest light. But she also does it in such a compassionate and nurturing energy. She doesn't destroy for the sake of destruction. She destroys anything that is not of the highest light so that it can be created, renewed in the highest light, in the highest energy. She's a fierce warrior. She is a creator. She is that wild feminine energy, that dark feminine energy. She is chaos, but she's not chaos for the sake of chaos. She is chaos for the sake of creation. It's really beautiful energy. And I feel like that is what the divine feminine is really claiming. She's claiming all aspects of herself, calling back all fragmented aspects of herself into her wholeness, into her oneness. And she is just ignited within her connection to God, within her connection to herself, and within her connection to all universal forces. in the highest light, in the highest energy, in the highest frequency. She is united. This is higher level embodiment. I'm also getting the number 5 here, the 2 and the 3 coming down to a 5. There's a change that's being sparked within her, and I feel like this is internal. And because she's feeling this internally, there's a lot of change that's going to be experienced within her external world in her life. It could feel like destruction depending on where you are in your journey, where you are in your path. It could feel like destruction, but it's because of creation. Or if you've already passed that kind of threshold, if you kind of experienced that, it could be that there's the creation energy that's coming in for more abundance, for more beauty, for whatever it is. So it depends on what you've experienced and where you are in your journey. There's no hierarchy. There's no, well, I'm experiencing this, so I'm further ahead. There's no further ahead. There just is. It just is where you are. Where you are is perfect for you and your path. It's what your soul decided for you. It's what your soul needs for you. So this energy is, it could be destruction or it could be creation, but this destruction comes before creation. The creation comes after the destruction. It just depends on where you've been or what you've experienced. But there's so much beauty that's coming in from all of this. This is the tower that has fallen, and there's creation that's being built from that. This is new energy. This is new earth energy. This is higher consciousness energy that is being embodied now. She is just ignited and united. It's really beautiful. It's stunning, actually. Whew. I did not expect this to be this intense. This is gorgeous. Okay, I tried doing a reading earlier when I woke up from a nap, and it was just not happening, and I knew I needed to sleep more, and now it just feels like it's all coming into full force. I'm going to have the Patreon. This reading is for you available. It's public. Remember, September, everything on the Patreon for the month of September is public and accessible to everybody, so make sure that you're checking that out. I'm going to have that up later this week, and next week is going to be the pick-a-pile. If you would like to subscribe, then you will have access to all of the previous readings. If you are already subscribed, then your billing was halted for the month of September as a thank you. And everything is, again, free and viewable to the public for the month of September. Not everything, just the September postings, including the live stream, which we will have on the 27th. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. Mark that in your calendars. All the information is available on the Patreon, and I'll have reminders as well. All right, I'm going to do something a little bit different today. We're going to do, like what I do for my Divine Partnership readings, headspace, heartspace, and action space for both counterparts. So we're going to start with the headspace. When it comes to this connection and this divine partnership, I want to see how you are experiencing each other, how you're thinking about each other. I want to talk to each other and see what's going on in relation to each other, especially when you're experiencing this kind of separation or detachment or this walking away. It depends on really where you are in your journey. But really it is the separation, it is this detachment, it is this energy that we've been experiencing. So Divine Masculine for the headspace. Let's see what's going on here. How are they feeling about this connection, Divine Feminine in the headspace? That's way too many. But the Emperor making himself known. I'm hearing I'm becoming the Emperor. I'm becoming the Emperor. I feel like this person is really transforming and shifting in consciousness. They're seeing things in a new light. I feel like they're seeing this connection in a new light as well. How are you feeling about your feminine or this connection in your headspace? Divine Masculine, please. 3 cards. Divine Masculine, please. Nine of Wands. Divine Masculine, please. Divine Masculine. There we go. The Lovers. Yep, okay. And one more card, please. Masculines. The Moon. Okay. Interesting. We have the Knight of Wands, the Lovers, the Devil, and the Moon. Interesting, because these are juxtaposition? No. These are opposites. These are opposite energies, complete opposite energies. It's really interesting here. You have the attachment of the Devil. here you have the freedom of that partnership. I feel like this is being released. I feel like this is what in their mind space they're working through. They're working through um, the fears. The fears. I feel like part of the monster under the bed is the energy of fearing love and partnership, especially when it comes to commitment, especially when it comes to opening up and expressing oneself to somebody. Between divine counterparts, you see each other. You see the soul of each other. There is no mask. You can put up as many masks as you try, and try as you can. Your divine feminine will always see you, divine masculine. Just like divine feminine, your masculine sees you. You can put up any mask, and she might not always comment on it. She might not always speak up on it, but she observes it. She knows it. She feels it. She feels it energetically. She sees it with her third eye. She sees it. Try as you might, you cannot wear the mask with your counterparts. You just can't. And you feel that intuitively. You feel that with your heart. You don't see it with your physical eyes. You don't see it with your mind, your ego. You feel it. That's what this energy is. The masculine is no longer able to hide. They're having to face the monsters under the bed. Now, this could be habits, mindsets, addictions, patterns, trauma, anything that they were attached to in the past, especially when it came to love and the fears around love, the fears around opening up and expressing oneself. But I feel like what's really coming through here is the love. The love is expanding. And I feel like in their mind, they're trying to overcome and make sense of this connection. When I say overcome, I mean, I'm getting many messages all at once. They're trying to overcome their fears and their attachment, or their fears of attachment, and they're facing some confusion around this. They are trying to say, is this real? Just like you had your doubts, divine feminines, they're questioning this because they're feeling this connection now on a different level. They're feeling the love the more they open up. And that's a little bit scary for them. They have been really guarded with the 9 of Wands here. They have been really guarded against this because of their experiences in the past. They're like, I cannot open myself up to another person anymore. I can't open my heart. I've been burned too many times in the past. I just don't want to be burned again. But they're also recognizing that the love that they experience with their divine counterpart is something that they haven't experienced before. So their mind is kind of going back and forth and back and forth. This masculine might have actually also tried to find you and other people. They might have gone exploring. They might have dated other people. They might have tried to form connections with other people, recognizing too that the connection that they have with you has been unlike anything they've ever experienced before. You've been calling them home. And that calling of home is helping them to overcome their fears and their suppressed emotions and their suppressed energy. It's helping them overcome this toxic energy that they've housed within themselves. This love is stronger than anything that they've ever known. And it's almost a little bit overwhelming for them. And they're trying to make sense of it in their mind, but I feel like they are letting down those defenses and they're allowing themselves just to feel the love more and more. I feel like this is a little bit of a process because, again, there's a lot of confusion that I'm seeing in the divine masculine's headspace as they are going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, trying to figure this out. They're trying to figure this out logically, but this isn't logical. This connection isn't logical. It's something that is felt with the heart. It's something that is experienced intuitively. It's something that is shared within the soul. This is a sacred soul connection. This is an alchemical marriage. This is that hieros gamos. It is that oneness. And it doesn't make logical sense. But the divine masculine is still trying to make it make logical sense. Divine feminines, you might be experiencing some of this too, especially with the doubt that you've been experiencing, trying to focus on the physical. So there's been this going back and forth, but I feel like the love is winning out. The heart is winning out. It's stronger than any of that toxic energy. It's stronger than any of the fears. Moving through the fears to choose a path of love, moving through the fears to trust in the connection and trust in what the heart says, Divine Masculine hasn't always been able to trust in the heart, but especially because they've been so burned in the past. And it's like, I just don't want to battle anymore. I just don't want to battle. And they don't want to battle with you either, Divine Feminines. Especially if this is related to you, they don't want to battle with you. They just want to feel that love and that harmony. But they're still going back and forth within their mind because there's still some toxic energy that needs to be released here. There's still some fears that need to be faced. There's still some emotions, suppressed emotions that need to come to the surface and be expressed. But I feel like with the Lovers here, they're being guided to you. They're being guided to this connection, and they're recognizing, they really are consciously recognizing what this connection is and how they feel about you. They're just doing a little bit of battle within themselves right now. Okay, whew, that was a lot. It's intense energies for the Masculines. I feel like they're experiencing a lot of intensity right now. They might have experienced a lot of intensity with the full moon as well. You might have picked up on some of that energy too, but I feel like this full moon revealed a lot to them, especially about their emotions and how they feel about you and how they feel about the connection. I'm hearing like the truth of the love, the truth of the heart. All right, Divine Feminines, how are you feeling about your Divine Masculine and this connection? Divine Feminines now, how are you feeling in the headspace? What are you thinking with regards to your masculine in this connection? Divine Feminines. Four of Swords, Nine of Pentacles. You are doing a major reset within yourself. You're doing a lot of healing. Yep. You're doing a lot of healing within yourself. And look, your masculine is with you and you can feel it. You know that they're always there. But I feel like with the Four of Swords, Nine of Pentacles, and the Judgment card, I feel like you're just kind of doing your own thing. You're kind of just recognizing that he's always with you, that he's always in your heart, that you're feeling this connection, you're loving him so deeply, but you're also recognizing your own independence. You're also recognizing that you're on your own journey right now. You're consciously aware of this, that your masculine's on his journey. You're consciously aware of the separation and that you have no choice but to be on your journey as well. And part of your journey is this healing energy. You're healing the past. You're healing perhaps even the energy within the masculine, within your own inner masculine, or what you've experienced with your masculine. You're doing a lot of healing work on your own, which is interesting because the masculine usually does this as well, but I feel like that's what the separation was for. It was that individual energy. It was that let's go to our separate corners so that we can heal, so that when we do come together, we don't knock each other out, right? So it's funny what they're bringing me. It's like, you know, when you get into a boxing ring, like you anticipate that you're going to box each other, that you're going to fight each other, right? But I'm actually seeing the two of you pulling up chairs and having a conversation. Like there's no need for gloves. The gloves can come off. There's no need for fighting. That's not what this journey is about. This journey is about love. It's not about fighting. So get out of the ring is what they're saying. Get out of the boxing ring altogether. Just get out. It's funny. Spirit's funny sometimes. Okay, so I feel like you are just going through this period of rest. You're going through this reset. It really feels like a reset, like you're resetting the energy within yourself because you're embodying a new and higher level of yourself, a new and higher energy of yourself. So it's like everything is being reset energetically within you. I'm even getting like your cells are resetting themselves. And that could be some physical healing, some body healing that's happening right now. You could be called to better nutrition. You could be called to exercise, not exercise as in like I gotta go, work out. Lord knows I don't do that, but it's exercise as in healthy, just healthy walking or hiking or being out in nature, grounding, just some healthy behaviors. Your cells are getting a reset. I'm also getting being in the sun, spending some time in the sun with those light codes. Really, your cells are getting a reset as well. Your whole energetic body. What's interesting to me is you have these Three of Swords that are here. What's happening with this reset, with this healing, is you are healing, again, the pain. You're healing your connection. You're healing where there was pain, heartbreak, betrayal, because you are honoring yourself. And that's part of what this Nine of Pentacles energy is. This independent energy is. It's not independence like I was discussing in the beginning of Hyper independence. I have to take care of everything myself. I have to do everything myself. That's a trauma response in and of itself. This is independence of, I can be my feminine energy. Look at all the yellow that she's wearing. That's a solar plexus energy. That's self-empowerment. When you are in a place of, I'm hearing the words divine connection, but what I mean by that is self-empowerment. It is connected to yourself, knowing yourself, and that wholeness, that inner union. When you're in that state, you know when you can rely on yourself, that you have the tools and resources to rely on yourself. You know when to do that, and you know when to ask for support. You have the ability to ask for support. You set down the pride. You set down the ego. You are able to ask for support. They're bringing me something funny. So I'm short. Like I'm really short. I'm like right under 5 foot. And I was in the supermarket, and where was I? Was it the supermarket? I forget where I was. I was in the supermarket, and I was reaching for something, and it was on a shelf that I could actually reach, so it was no big deal. But this guy looked at me. It was an older gentleman. He said, "Do you have any problem asking people for help?" I said, "No." No. I said if I need to reach somebody, I'll find somebody, or sometimes I'll climb the shelves, but I'll usually find somebody to ask me to and ask them for help reaching something if I can't do it. Like, I have no problem doing that. And it was interesting to me because he said, "That's interesting." He's like, "Because I don't know if I would be able to ask for help." He's like, "I admire that." And I'm like, "Wow, that's really interesting." And we didn't talk anymore. We went our separate ways. But it was interesting to me because it was like something that feels so natural to me because I'm in such a position that I have to ask for help sometimes, isn't always. But that came through healing. That came through being able to ask for help came through healing. I wasn't always able to do that. Or I should say this, something like that, asking for help to reach something on the shelves, feels natural to me because it's just something that I've always needed help with. But asking for help, for example, I had posted something on Instagram and Facebook today, a short essay about when I was sick. It was really hard for me to receive gifts. It was really hard for me to receive support and love. Asking for that kind of help, I refused to do it. I was in such a hyper independent state that even when I was sick and unable to care for myself, I refused help. Like, that's a trauma response, right? But something as simple as reaching for something on the shelf, that came about as easy. That's where healing occurs. I needed help at that point in my life, right? But I wasn't healed enough and understanding enough or connected enough to myself to be able to do that. That's what I learned through my journey, as I learned how to ask for help and support. That's what the Nine of Pentacles is all about. It's about independence and self-empowerment. And self-empowerment and independence, true independence, is knowing the right timing, knowing when to ask for support and when to have the resources to do it yourself. It's healing the codependency. It's healing the hyper independence. It's having that balance. I know when I can support myself and I can have those resources. I know when to problem solve. I know when to do this, and I know when to receive that support and ask for that support. Judgment, this is rebirth. This is you are arising into a new and higher version of yourself. That's what this whole energy is. This is all about healing within yourself. Now, how does that relate to the masculine? They're drawing me back to that now. I feel like you are kind of unfocused on the masculine right now. I feel like you're so focused on yourself and your own healing, but your masculine is still there. Your masculine is still there. Your masculine is still... This reminds me of the star card. It's the world. It's something that's come to a conclusion. It's something that has come to an end. But it feels like the star, like your wish is still there. There's still hope for the masculine connection. You're still feeling your masculine energy. But because you've come to such a grounded state within yourself and balance within yourself, it's like you're just focused on your path in your own wholeness of your inner masculine and your inner feminine energies. And you know that when the timing is right, that you will align to a masculine energy in the physical world to reflect the union that you have within yourself. I really hope that makes sense. This feels really self-focused right now. Not selfish, self-focused. But I feel like that's because you know that your masculine is always with you. You know that your masculine is always with you. You feel that with you. That's your inner union. And it's like the more that you're focused on your own self-empowerment, the more that you're focused on your path and your journey, you are actually naturally aligning to that partnership. If you were so focused on what your masculine is doing, it's almost like that would create this resistance, because you would just be out of your own alignment. So interesting. I'm going to put these two cards back. What's going on in the heart space? What's going on in the heart space for the divine masculine when it comes to this? I knew the Two of Cups was going to come out. I knew it. They're transforming. They're seeing this connection in a new light. I also feel like they have experienced the death of this connection. Remember when I said for the feminine it was this world card? There's been a conclusion. There's been an ending. Feminines really felt this. I feel like her focusing on herself was her walking away from the connection, because the connection just wasn't honoring her. It just wasn't in the same energy. It just wasn't. We've talked about that a lot. We're not gonna go into that. It just wasn't honoring her, and she knows that. And divine masculine is really recognizing that too. And so she's focused on herself, and so energetically she's kind of detached and she's walked away, even though she's always feeling her masculine there. Especially physically, she's walked away from the connection. She's not giving to the connection what she once was, because she was in her wounded state before. She's not in that state anymore. She's in a different energy, and that's asking the masculine to rise up. It's asking the masculine to transform. Again, that's where the split is coming in, where for some, her twin flame, her masculine is going to go through the journey, go through their ascension, and rise. They are going to be put to task and rise to the occasion. For others, it is going to be a soulmate connection, high-level soulmate connection, or a different divine masculine who's going to come in. That one might have just been the catalyst, but it's going to be a different divine masculine who's actually going to come in to be the partner. It just depends on where the masculine is, but that's not for you to concern yourself about, divine feminines. That is for you to just allow to unfold. Keep choosing the path of love. This divine masculine, however, we're going to talk about this specific divine masculine, is going through this, his own rebirth kind of energy. And I feel like he felt the end of the connection. He felt the physical end. He felt you pull away. He felt you detach. And it's like he's recognizing so much about the love that you guys shared. Remember when I said it's interesting how the lovers and you have the Two of Cups showing up in the divine masculine spread. The lovers, which is that higher level kind of energy showing up in the mind space. The Two of Cups, which is really grounded in the physical partnership, showing up in the heart space. What's really interesting here is, remember when I said that the divine masculine might have, tried to experience this connection with other women, other partners, other people, other men, depends on who you are, other feminine energies, that's what I want to say, with other people, recognizing that there is nobody but you, recognizing what this connection truly is. So it's interesting. There's a lot that's transforming right now. Yes, exactly. He knows it's you. Divine masculine truly knows that it's you. It's always been you. But their own fear held them back. Their own toxic energy held them back. They might have looked outside of themselves and said, this is toxic, and this is toxic, and this is toxic, but that was within themselves. And the more that they face the monster on the bed, the more that they face themselves, the more that they're able to come closer to you, divine feminine, the more they're able to see you in your truth, in your light, see the truth of this connection, the more they're able to see the feminine energy within them, and the power and the divinity and the sovereignty and the love within themselves. There's so much that is shifting and changing for the divine masculine, but they see you, divine feminine. You are the divine feminine for them and to them. They want to offer this love. They want to offer this expression. They want to come forward. There's a lot of emotion that's being expressed right now. They recognize this love. They recognize this partnership in this heart space. They want to offer that. I feel like they are still filling up their own cup. And once they do, it's like, I want to be able to offer you the world because you deserve the world. And I know that. I've always known that, but I didn't know how to express that. And so I held myself back and I acted like I did and I behaved like I did. But you do and always have meant the world to me, and you've deserved the world. I just didn't think I was the one to be able to offer that to you. I didn't think that I was the one who was capable of offering that to you. The more they fill up their cup, the more they're going to see that, yes, because you are the emperor. Oh, I don't have that there anymore. You are, where was that? You are the emperor to their empress. But Divine Masculine had to level up and shift a little bit and go through their ascension in order to match the frequency. They're very wise Divine Masculines, very wise. They recognized before you did, Divine Feminines, that you did deserve so much more. They recognized that. Even if they were kind of breadcrumbing you, even if they were giving, like minimal and putting in minimal effort, I feel like that's because they recognized that you deserve so much and they didn't know how to offer that. They didn't know how to offer that. Even though you weren't asking much of them. You weren't, especially in the physical, you weren't asking much of them. But that was so that you could go through your ascension yourself, Divine Feminines, and recognize that, yes, you do deserve the world. Yes, you do deserve everything of your heart's desire. Now the Masculine is going through their own ascension and recognizing that they are capable of offering that. It was just their own lack and beliefs in themselves that made them think, their own toxicity that made them think that they couldn't. So they're going through their own ascension, just like they kind of forced you into your ascension, Divine Feminines. Okay. Divine Feminine. What's in your heart of hearts for the Divine Masculine? Divine Feminine, the Divine Masculine. Two of Cups, you guys are sharing that love. You are feeling that love for each other. Divine Feminines, I thought something else flipped over. I feel like you never gave up on this connection. You feel it in your heart of hearts, but you had to walk away for your own sake, your own self. You had to honor yourself, you had to walk away from this connection. To honor this connection and your masculine, you had to walk away. As difficult as it was, I said this in one of the last channelings, it is the hardest thing that you've ever had to do, Divine Feminines, because of the amount of love that you have for your masculine. The hardest thing, and now they want to bring me to what I had, I'm getting so overwhelmed with emotions right now, what I had channeled this morning. Divine, okay. Divine Feminine, it was the hardest thing that you've ever had to do, to walk away from somebody that you love so much and this connection that you feel with every single fiber of your being. Because you know intuitively what this person means to you, what this energy means to you, what this connection means to you. You know intuitively that this is your partner, that this is your sacred partnership, that this is your sacred union, that this is your sacred love. And you know what that means to you. It doesn't mean, just all the 3D stuff. All that showy stuff, all that shallow stuff. That's not what this connection means to you. You have walked through the fires of your own ascension. You have been into the very depths of your own heart to understand what this connection and this love and this person, your partner, means to you. It is not shallow, it is deep. This is not the average relationship. This is not the old template of relationship. You have been through the fire of that ascension. And you came out recognizing your own heart. I feel like there has been so much pain that was experienced between you both, for both of you. And it was the hardest thing that you've ever had to do, was to honor yourself by walking away. But by loving yourself and honoring yourself, you were also honoring the connection. Because again, you would just knock each other out. You would just destroy each other. So what I had said, and the masculine is feeling the exact same way. When they go silent, that's them doing what's really hard for them, because they want to express their love for you. They just don't know how. That's part of their transformation. They have to learn how. They have to, go through the process of understanding how to express themselves and how to communicate. That's their learning to do. That's their, healing to do. Because they are expressive, they are communicative. They just don't understand that about themselves or believe that about themselves, but that's a belief or a pattern that has to shift. So when they go quiet or they go silent or they ghost, that's not to excuse their behavior, Divine Feminines. That's why you walked away. Because they were behaving in such a way that was not honoring of you. but it wasn't honoring of them either. And they're recognizing that it wasn't honoring of themselves either. And because it wasn't honoring of themselves, it wasn't honoring of you. Do you see the mirror here? So the masculine is feeling betrayed that the feminine is choosing to move on. But the feminine is feeling betrayed that the masculine put her in such a position. So there's a lot of energy of betrayal that's being experienced here. I'm going to repeat that again. The masculine feels betrayed that the feminine has walked away and is seemingly choosing to move on. And she might very well be. She's choosing the path of love, whatever that looks like for her, because she's honoring herself. The masculine is feeling betrayed in that respect. However, the feminine is feeling betrayed because she's saying, you pushed me to that. You pushed me to that. You pushed me away. So you're both mirroring each other. You're both feeling betrayed, but I feel like that's what's healing. And again, even though your sacred union feels like it's so far apart, you're actually healing this energy, and it's being bridged. It's coming together again. How it's going to look is going to be different for everybody. Again, different paths, different situations, but you actually are coming into more union. All right. Divine Feminines. I feel like we could just leave the Two of Cups there, but Divine Feminines, anything else that you're feeling in your heart space towards your masculine? Two of Swords. She's a little bit undecided as far as how to proceed, but she is very much feeling this love. She's very much feeling that inner union. She's very much feeling the sacredness of this connection, and she's like, it's always in my heart. I carry it in my heart. But it feels like she just, I feel like she's leaving it up to fate. It's not that she has a decision to make. I feel like she's just like, I'm just choosing the path of love. That's my decision. I'm choosing the path of love. I can't exactly see where I'm being led, but I'm choosing the path of love. That's what I decide. One more card, please, for the Divine Feminine. One more card, please, for the Divine Feminine. She's choosing the conscious masculine. She's choosing love. That's the new beginning that she's walking towards. I'm not going to take these two cards, but I want to show them the Lovers and the Ace of Pentacles. And here we have the High Priestess. She is trusting her intuition. She's choosing love. And that's the garden that she's walking into. The new tangible garden. The physical form. She's walking towards love. She's walking towards partnership. Whatever that looks like for her, she's releasing that. She knows that she's walking towards a conscious masculine. And that there's a conscious masculine. This masculine, whoever this is that's transforming. Divine Masculine, what's going on in your action space? What is going on in your action space? Divine Masculine, what's going on in your action space, please? Divine Masculine action space when it comes to this connection, please, Spirit. What's going on? I feel like they're not going to let me know. You're Divine Feminine. You're not allowed to know. Divine Masculine, what's going on in your action space? The World. He's ending a cycle. He's ending a significant cycle. For some, this could be relationships, karmic relationships, karmic situations. This could be taking ownership of himself. What I mean is ending a situation where he wasn't taking responsibility. I'm getting this energy of waiting. Like, I'm waiting for a raise. I'm waiting to make more money. I'm waiting until I have XYZ in place. Ending the cycle of waiting. Recognize that you could be waiting forever. At some point, you have to take action. They're ending a cycle here, a major cycle of waiting. Interesting. Okay, it's upside down. All right, tell me more. What's going on in the action space for the Divine Masculine? What's going on in the action space? We have the Four of Cups. Yeah, they recognized where in the past they missed this opportunity. Yep, there it is. I knew it. I was feeling this. This cup of love is the cup that he's carrying here. He's ending the cycle of waiting. He's ending a major cycle. So he's closing out a chapter. He's closing out something of significance. Again, could be ending a relationship, could be, walking away from a job that might have been just where he'd been overworking and not paying attention, or making relationship priority, or that kind of thing. Anything where the heart was not priority, that's what he's ending. Anywhere where he was waiting to put things into place rather than just allowing his heart to guide him, to lead him, allowing himself to love. Anything of that, he's ending that cycle. He's recognizing where he had missed the opportunity in the past, where he was looking at the lack, where he was looking at the empty cup within himself. And now the universe has been trying and trying and trying to show him that love and bring him that love. And now he's finally taking it. He's taking the offer from the universe. He's taking the opportunity. And I feel like it's not even anything that the divine feminine is doing or has done. I feel like he's just saying, you know what? Like, I recognize this. I recognize that the universe has always been trying to bring in this love for me. And now I'm going to take it. I'm going to claim it. Now, not take it and claim it as in like, you know, Gollum, it's mine, my precious. It's like take it and claim it as in I'm now going to take that love and I'm going to offer it to my counterpart. I'm going to offer it to my beloved. I'm going to offer it to my feminine. Because this is love that I'm recognizing has always been with me. This is twofold a message. It's always been this person, this divine masculine has always felt this connection in some way, shape, or form energetically. It's interesting because that's their inner feminine that has always been conscious of a higher level of connection. Energetically. We explain that sometimes with the divine feminine, like she's always been aware that there's been this great love of her life, even if it's never come in the physical. It's almost like she was waiting for that. Divine masculine is in that energy now. It's like they recognize that they've always had this energy of love around them and that their divine feminine has always been an energetic presence in their life. And now it's like they're doing something with that. They're feeling that. They're taking that opportunity that's been presented to themselves. Their feminine has come into their life. They're taking that opportunity now and they're wanting to not look at the lack anymore, but to look at the two cups that are filled up. The two cups that were filled up. The two cups that has always been this sacred union, this sacred partnership. This love that has always been available to them, that has always been there. Putting in an offer, giving that love. They're gonna express that love to you. They're gonna express that love. I don't know how else to put it. They're gonna express that love. They want to express that love. They're in that King of Cups energy. And what I love is the Page of Cups here and the King of Cups. I don't feel like this is immature energy. I feel like this is them wanting to offer to the feminine. And in the action space, it's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. They're taking, it's like they're gaining a lot of courage through this process. A lot of courage to rise up and be the masculine. All right, divine feminine, what's your action space? Ace of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles. This is you receiving that. This is you receiving this love. This is you receiving this love in beautiful equal balance. This is a new beginning. Ace of Pentacles came out previously. This is you walking through the garden, allowing yourself to receive it. Divine Feminines, please. Action space. One more card for the Divine Feminines. Just one card, please. One more card for the Divine Feminines. Oh my gosh. Okay. One more card for the Divine Feminines. Action space for the Divine Feminines. And the High Priestess. Divine Feminines, you are to intuitively trust in this. Trust your intuition. Go within and trust your intuition as far as actions for you to take or for you to receive. But I do feel like you're going to be in the energy of receiving. This Ace of Pentacles is just this energy of pure abundance, pure love, pure tangible energy. It's something very physical form. And I feel like this is you receiving this. Now, this could be finances, but this doesn't relate to finances. This is related to your connection. This is really you allowing yourself to receive. Now, this could be allowing yourself to receive financially from your partner, like being taken out on a date, being taken out to dinner, receiving a gift. It could be something tangible like that. But I feel like at the very least, energetically, this is the scales that are balanced out. I feel like there's a real sense of justice that's coming in for you, where you had overgiven and overgiven and overgiven, and the scales were really tipped in that way. I feel like now this is you allowing yourself to receive and bringing the connection into balance, but trusting your intuition, following your inner guidance when it comes to this connection. Whew. All right, you guys, let's end with Let's end with what? Let's end with a card. Let's end with one of these. What do we need to know for this divine connection? The garden. You're opening up this new door. And what's beautiful about this is there's so much abundance in this garden. This is your freedom. This is your beauty. This is your magic. You're opening up the higher aspects of love, the higher aspects of yourself. This is heart expansion. It's like the heart garden. This is you opening up to so much abundance and love and magic, not only within yourself energetically, but in your life, especially as you come together. This is a new beginning. Opening up the garden. There's a divine reference there too, that Garden of Eden reference. This is opening up everything. This is expansion energy. So the more that you open up to love and choose that path of love, and the more that you follow and take action within that energy of love, the more you are just opening up to this new... It's interesting that I got this garden energy, because this is what this is. It's like you're expanding within your heart garden, and it's going to bring heaven to earth, truly. That seems like such a cliche, but truly... That's all the energy of love. It is all in the energy of love. Love creates so much abundance, so much of that garden energy, so much of that heaven energy. That is what love is. That's what heaven is. Heaven is love. And so you're bringing that here to earth. This is that new earth energy. Beautiful. All right, you guys, that is going to be it. Make sure that you're staying tuned to the Patreon for this reading is for you specific scenario later this week. I'm hoping to have some more channelings, but we'll see. I'm going to be off next week for my birthday, so probably no readings next week, but stay tuned. We'll see what happens. I'm sending you guys so much love and so much light, and we'll see you next time. Bye.